BBC News at 1. President Zelensky has revealed the details of a new 20-point peace plan to end the war.
Oh, he looks so sad. He doesn't even cry. Donald Trump looks like he's bored. And Vladimir Putin looks like he wants to go depressed.
They want to cry,
What do we know about the details of this plan?
Well, previously, any kind of land negotiations were just not on the table. But now President Zelensky is really signaling a willingness to talk about the eastern Donbass region. Specifically, he wants to see a demilitarized zone that is created and monitored by peacekeepers, and the front lines as is would be
Doesn't matter.
demarcation. Another possibility that is up for
It's still
discussion
salty.
is creating a free economic zone. But there are several caveats in order for that to be in place, says President Zelensky, including a retreat from the entire Donbass
It's nice
region
to have
by
a nice
Ukraine
meal.
and Russia.
Who do you think will be on the BBC Midlands?
We're working actively, doing everything necessary to ensure that the
Because we've had different Ben Bolas.
The key is that Russia must not sabotage this diplomacy.
Well,
We must take ending the war 100% seriously.
Or Rebecca
And
Harper.
additional pressure on Russia must follow. The world has all the instruments needed to make that pressure
Oh
effective and
God.
ensure that
If I had Ben Bolas.
Now
What
the
have they
ball
called?
is in Russia's court
Nah,
as
that'd
we
be
wait
the
for
damn
some
one.
kind of reaction.
That would be like a revival in the
However,
BBC
it's
Midlands.
important to remember that Russia has never, ever given any indication of any kind of retreat
That'd be like
from
on
the
no
entire
fair one back.
eastern Ukraine.
I hope,
Okay, Samira, thank you very much.
even, I'll say this again.
Russian authorities say two
Gotta
police
go on
officers
then,
have been killed by an explosion in Moscow.
You're on
They were
TV.
trying to arrest a suspect who also died when he detonated a device near a police car. The incident follows the fatal car bombing of a Russian army general in Moscow on Monday.
That's what I'm talking about.
Andrew
Who died?
Mountbatten-Windsor is facing renewed calls to cooperate with American authorities after the release of thousands more files related to the convicted paedophile, the late Jeffrey Epstein.
Don't
One
even
of them is an email thought to be from the former Duke of
Oh,
York
Smiley.
asking about
You said
quote,
you're Tina.
inappropriate friends. He has repeatedly
No,
denied
not
any
going to take
involvement.
anything.
Alison Freeman reports.
Another release of documents and more questions raised about Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor and his relationship with the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. More specifically, what he was doing on trips in his role as trade envoy. In an email which appears to be from the former
Hey.
prince to Ghislaine Maxwell in
Mama,
2001,
come on.
the sender, who is
What
signed
is that, big old brother?
asks, "Have you found me some new inappropriate friends?" Maxwell replies, she's only been able to find appropriate friends. Months later, emails again appearing to be between the two discuss an upcoming trip to Peru. An email from a tour guide asking about the girls, how old is he, is forwarded to A. He replies, as for the girls, well, I'll leave that entirely to you and Juan Esteban. There's no evidence of criminal activity in these exchanges.
These were on taxpayer-funded trips to promote British trade. These weren't holidays. So I would like two things. One is a full parliamentary investigation into Andrew's time as a trade envoy from 2001 to 11, and also all the papers relating to that period to be released. I spent 4 or 5 frustrating years trying to get the government here to release anything. At least we've got something from the States.
The Epstein files have been released in the name of transparency, but much of the material has been heavily redacted, something that's been criticised by Epstein survivors.
It is very simple. Redact our names and unredact the powerful, the elite men that are out there and that are continuing to doing these horrible things to these women they have done it to us and they will continue to do so. Please look at us as your children.
You seem utterly convinced you're telling the truth. Would you? Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor said in a BBC interview in 2019 that he would be willing to cooperate in an FBI investigation into Epstein if advised to do so by lawyers. He's repeatedly denied any wrongdoing.
Why would he be unwilling to help them to achieve their goal of truth and transparency? The silence from Andrew is deafening. And I really feel it's inexcusable for a former member of royalty.
With Christmas Day and the King's speech almost upon us, these new documents will no doubt be an unwelcome distraction for the royals. Alison Freeman, BBC News.
Bethlehem is marking Christmas for the first time in 3 years. The city is in the occupied West Bank, where all public celebrations were suspended after Israeli troops entered Gaza in 2023. The recent ceasefire prompted a decision to hold them again, with a focus around the giant Christmas tree in Manger Square. A 13-year-old boy, understood to be British and named locally as Alfie Hallett, has been stabbed to death in Portugal. Authorities there say he was attacked by his mother's former partner in the city of Doctors and midwives are urging pregnant women to get vaccinated against the flu. They are among the most vulnerable to the illness this winter, along with newborn babies, and the jab offers protection for both. Our reporter Tim Muffet has the details.
Even though the rise in the number of flu infections appears to be levelling off, there's a warning and a plea from midwives and doctors. Pregnant women should get the flu vaccine as soon as possible, they say, as the impact of flu can be much worse on them and newborn babies. Royal colleges representing more than 90,000 health professionals have come together to deliver their message. The Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, the Royal College of Midwives, and the Royal College of Paediatrics and Child Health are urging pregnant women to talk to their maternity nurse or their GP, adding that even later on in the flu season, the vaccine still offers vital protection.
It's really important for pregnant women to get the flu jab. When you're pregnant, your immune system is not as robust.
Dr. Fariamid.
So that means if you do get the flu, even if you're young and healthy, you're more likely to have complications, sometimes bronchitis, sometimes things that mean you need to end up in hospital. The flu jab is safe. We've been using it for over a decade and people have been fine having it. And the other benefit is for baby, it helps baby's immune system be stronger as well. So when they're born, they carry some of that protection from their mom, and it stops them from becoming as unwell if they encounter the flu virus.
A type of seasonal flu called H3N2 comes around every winter. But this summer it acquired 7 new mutations, which seems to make it better at evading our immune defences. And that led to the flu season beginning earlier than usual in the UK and other countries. This afternoon, the latest flu statistics are due to be released, so we should get a clearer picture of where things stand. Data released last week suggests the initial steep rise in infections was starting to stabilise. Flu, though, can be unpredictable, and the advice to pregnant women is clear: to get vaccinated as soon as possible. Pregnant women are more likely than the general population to suffer complications from flu, whilst babies are more likely to be admitted to hospital. Tim Muffet, BBC News.
The England cricket captain Ben Stokes has admitted this is the most difficult spell of his captaincy, as his England team face more allegations of heavy drinking during the Ashes tour in Australia. The fourth test gets underway tomorrow night, with England having already lost the series. Now sports correspondent Andy Swiss has more.
England's players looked relaxed as they trained in Melbourne, but it's their relaxation off the pitch that's been attracting headlines. Reports of excessive drinking and a video appearing to show batter Ben Duckett slurring his words during a tour trip to Queensland earlier this month. But as Duckett practiced with the rest of the players today, their captain called for empathy with his squad under the spotlight.
My main thing right now as England captain is making sure that everyone's okay. And I've known first hand that this can actually make you feel like, this is probably the toughest time right now as an England captain that I'll have. But I ain't gonna run away from it.
The players' behaviour during that beach break is now being investigated by England. Their travelling fans have some sympathy, but it's limited.
It doesn't look good when we're 3-0 down. That's the problem. If we were 3-0 up, it'd be fine, wouldn't it?
To let the hair down one night can be expected. Not every night.
Not every night.
But
We can do everything, right? So, you know, yeah, give it a bit.
And in another blow for England, they'll be without the injured Jofra Archer. 3-0 down and missing their star player. They'll be hoping this ill-fated tour can't get any worse. Andy Swiss, BBC News.
For the last 70 years, children all over the world have been watching Santa on his rounds on Christmas Eve with the help of the NORAD tracker. But few people know that it all began with a simple misprint on a US department store advert back in the 1950s. Our reporter Fiona Lambton has the story.
Whether you know him as Father Christmas, Santa, or even St. Nick, many of us have been busy making sure our wish lists are in on time.
Please, Santa, please get me some monsters and a Merry Christmas. So, Santa, can I have roller skates and a Lego set?
It looks like Santa's delivering presents to the good boys and girls of Shanghai, China. Shanghai.
With Christmas now just hours away, trackers around the world are keeping a very close eye on Father Christmas as he makes his way across the globe.
NORAD is able to keep pinpoint accuracy on the heat signature from Rudolph's nose.
And over in the United States, their Aerospace Defense Command is once again using its radar and satellites to chart his progress. A tradition that's been going strong for 70 years. It all began back in 1955 with a simple typo. The department store placed a newspaper advert inviting children to phone Santa, but the number was misprinted, directing callers instead to the Air Defense Command.
This is Colonel Shelp, the commander of the Combat Alert Center. Who's this? Well, now the little voice is crying. I said, well, is this one of Santa's helpers then? Dad finally figured out, oh, this must really be a kid. So he said, ho, 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 this is not one of Santa's helpers. This is Santa Claus. And so the kid was, oh, thank goodness, and told him, gave him his whole Christmas list. And he said, could you bring something nice for my mommy?
And ever since, for the last 7 decades, this team has been helping children track Santa using their radar.
We have our aircraft and our radars and our satellites all positioned to track. Santa's very cooperative with us. We have pilots who have been next to him, and he'll give a wave, but he doesn't really need our help navigating. He's an expert aviator, probably the best we've seen.
These guys, at glass of milk, we get a special plate and we put reindeer food on the floor, and then we get some like mince pies and we put our stockings up with our names on them.
Previous tracking data shows Father Christmas and his sleigh normally reach the UK late on Christmas Eve. Though remember, they'll only stop if you're asleep. Fiona Lambton, BBC News.
And we will have a live update before the end of the programme on where Santa and his reindeer are. But in the meantime, it's time to get the news where you are.
Ben Coffey.
Thanks, Ben. I'm James Boval, and
Ben
you're watching Midlands
Boval.
today. Good afternoon. A fundraiser for those left stranded after a giant hole emerged on a canal in Shropshire has already raised more than £39,000. The GoFundMe page was set up to help the dozens of people who've been evacuated from their narrowboats. Engineers say they plan to try and refloat some of the boats stranded on one side of the collapsed embankment in Whitchurch today. The breach will cost millions of pounds to repair. A 19-year-old man has been charged with murder after a 24-year-old woman was found dead in Albury. The victim was found at an address on Barncroft Road in the early hours of Sunday morning and was pronounced dead at the scene. Benjamin Day from Redditch has been remanded in custody and is due before Birmingham magistrates today. The family of a man from Redditch who was shot dead by police a year ago today say they can't stop replaying the details of his death. father of two, Marcus Mead, was killed after police entered his flat following a 5-hour standoff. An independent police investigation into his death is ongoing. The 39-year-old's family say he was suffering a mental health episode at the time. West Mercia police previously said they were responding to reports he had a knife.
I'll walk down the street and I see all these lights, and I know that all these families are going to have probably the best time of their life. It's going to be one of those Christmases for them. But for me, it's the builder. It's telling me that, okay, they're getting ready to kill my son now.
The community share offer to save part of Babinswood Farm near Oswestry says it's now just £30,000 short of its end-of-year fundraising target. The farm is one of only a few cow and calf dairies in the West Midlands, meaning cows and calves stay together for several months instead of being separated. Now, a cafe in Shrewsbury is preparing dozens of free Christmas dinners for anyone in the community who might otherwise be alone on Christmas Day. Owner Fred Bilgich has been doing it for more than 10 years now and says it's his way of giving back. Bob Hockenall reports.
Yes, well, not only will those who come here tomorrow receive a Christmas dinner, but all sorts of gifts as well, some of them laid out on the table here. Well, with me now is cafe owner Fred. Fred, how long have you been doing this?
11 years.
And why did you decide to do it?
It's just more like my wife just started choice. My wife, yeah.
And what will you be cooking?
It's turkey, beef, and the chicken. And like, you know, for Christmas dinners like all wedding, march, and stuff like that.
Any idea how many people you're expecting?
It's roughly 200 people, like we're over 100 people, and more like takeaways, well, like roughly 200 people altogether.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Millie, you're involved as well. What do you think about your dad setting this up?
No, it's really nice. My parents both planned to do this, and it's really nice. All our family come down and help, and we have lots of volunteers, and it's a really lovely day for everyone involved.
And your dad mentioned that he's expecting about 200. Are you surprised it's that many?
No, it's lots of people come, pop in, and we also pop out to the homeless as well to just drop off food. So yeah, it's quite a lot of dinners to get ready.
That's really kind of you. Will you have time for a Christmas dinner yourselves?
Yeah, it's really lovely actually. Kind of towards the end, we all sit down with the volunteers and we all have dinner together. So it's really nice.
Excellent, well done, and thank you very much on behalf of the people of Shrewsbury for giving them a Christmas meal that they otherwise might not have had.
Yeah, what a good idea. That was Bob Hockenall reporting there. Okay then, let's get some sports. And in cricket, the Warwickshire batsman Jacob Bethel has been called into the England team for the fourth Ashes Test in Australia. The 22-year-old bats at number 3 in Melbourne, replacing
I went for a couple of hours.
played in 4 Test matches so far in his career. England have already lost the series. Now, if you want to work up an appetite before your Christmas dinner tomorrow, you could join dozens of people for a swim at Cheltenham Lido. Swimmers over the age of 16 are being urged to go along and raise money for the pool, which is run by a charitable trust. But definitely rather them than me. But will it be a decent weather for a Christmas Day dip? Shafali has the festive forecast.
Shafali!
Good afternoon and Merry Christmas Eve.
And also settled. Breezy as well, the winds playing
You might have a holiday before Christmas.
over the coming days. It's all courtesy of this area of high pressure, which is to the northeast. It's going to be drifting westwards over the coming days, but it's dragging in our winds from a cold east to northeasterly direction. So through this afternoon, there's a bit of a wind chill. Temperatures up to about 5 to 6 Celsius, and there will be some sunny spells around, although we're still getting that constant feed of cloud from off the North Sea. Through tonight, that cloud will huddle up towards the north of the region. Under the clearest skies, we'll get a touch of frost as temperatures will fall low enough for that. But Christmas Day itself, an abundance of sunshine. It's a cold day, a frosty start maybe, and a noticeable breeze from that easterly direction.
That was your final lunchtime bulletin for Christmas, but Amy Cole will be here at about 5:20 with your tea time bulletin. So Merry Christmas from everyone here on the lunchtime team to you and yours. And now it's back to Ben Bolas with the rest of the BBC News at 1. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Well, have a lovely Christmas Eve afternoon.
Hello.
Welcome back
time for us to take a look at the weather. Sarah, question people I suppose will have on their mind is, will it be a white Christmas?
Oh, I know that's the big question, isn't it? Yes, good afternoon to you. For most of us, it probably won't be a white Christmas because the weather is looking predominantly dry. It's certainly going to be cold, so could well be some frostiness around, but largely dry with a brisk easterly wind developing, some sunshine. There is just a chance we might see the odd snowflake, particularly for parts of Dartmoor, for instance, the Channel Islands as well. But we've got this cold wind coming in from the east or the northeast. That's with us at the moment, and it's certainly made things feel colder than recent days. Some sunshine out there, though, this afternoon, and top temperatures between around about 6 to 9 degrees. So as we head through Christmas evening and overnight, then it's looking mostly dry, lighter winds in the north, decent flying conditions for Santa and his reindeer. Further south, we've got a little bit more cloud, could be some fog patches, but for these temperatures to start Christmas Day, it is going to be cold and frosty for many of us. Now, through the day, we've got that cold easterly wind once again blowing across southern parts of the UK. There will be some sunshine, chance of some sleetiness for the Channel Islands, perhaps in Dartmoor as well. Temperatures on your thermometer around 6 to 8 degrees, but when you add on that wind chill, it is going to feel closer to freezing, but at least it's looking dry and bright for many of us for Christmas Day. Back to you, Ben.
Okay, Sarah, thank you very much. Right, just before we go, let's take a look at the NORAD tracker to see where Santa is right now. He was recently spotted flying over northern Australia and is now on his way to Indonesia. And back at ground level, more than 500 surfers dressed as the man himself gathered at Cocoa Beach in Florida for the annual Surfing Santas event. The spectacle started as a family tradition in 2009, now draws in thousands of spectators every year, spreading Christmas cheer and raising money for local causes. That is all from today's BBC News at 1. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your Christmas Eve. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, baby.